Did James Gunn just confirm our theory about Young Justice? Well, recently he was talking about Easter eggs, and apparently there's a ton of them in the film, but one of them in particular caught my attention. It might be the driving reason why we haven't gotten that 5th season of Young Justice, so let's dive in and talk about that for a few minutes. Well, it seems like we might have another clue on why Young Justice Season 5 hasn't happened, and it might have confirmed our theory. Now, if you've been paying attention, you saw there was a special fan event yesterday in London for the upcoming Superman release, and James Gunn sat down and talked a lot about the DC Universe. Now, there was a lot said in this conversation, but one of the biggest things that he said that caught my attention is when he was talking about Easter eggs. And honestly, it seems to confirm one of our major theories, so let's go ahead and check out the clip.
I mean, this is the most Easter egg-laden movie I've ever made, and I have a lot of Easter eggs in my movie. I mean, every character in the movie is practically from the comic books. Everybody in Lex's control room, all those people are characters from the comic books. They're all named after those characters. Every street in the movie is named after a comic book writer or artist. Most of the businesses are either named after a comic book writer or artist, or they are named after businesses that exist within the DC universe on the page. Later on, there's an iconic scene with a huge mural in the background that tells you the story of metahumans in the DCU, and that's going to be really fun when we release those images to the public. So the stuff goes deep. It's really fun. And it was really fun creating a world. That was one of the reasons why I like DC a lot, is because it isn't New York and Los Angeles. It's Gotham and Central City and Evergreen. And they're all these, it is really creating another world with other rules and other things that are common.
Now, did you catch that? Because it seems to be a scene right out of Season 4 of Young Justice. He says there is an iconic scene with a huge mural in the background that tells you the story of metahumans in the DCU, and that's going to be really fun when we release those images to the public. Now, if you're a Young Justice fan, your alarm bells are going off, because as many of you know, a key part of Season 4 was, well, an explanation for where not only where metahumans came from, but Atlanteans and Homo Magi. It seems like we've been theorizing, that James Gunn's metahumans in the DCU are being brought to life very similarly to Young Justice. If you remember, it was suggested in the series that all metahumans, excluding obviously robots and aliens and people from other dimensions, could actually trace their powers back to one person, Vandal Savage. Now, in Young Justice, he gains immortality from that mysterious meteor and lives through countless generations, and his descendants help pass that metagene down to the human population. Now, like I was saying, in Young Justice, this not only includes metahumans, but Atlanteans and Homo Magi. So basically, all of these characters' genetics is linked back to Vandal Savage, and ties it all into a big, nice package. Now, if James Gunn has taken a similar approach, and honestly, he said Young Justice was one of the influential projects when developing the DCU, well, this would explain why we haven't gotten to Season 5. Now, whether this is Vandal Savage or not, that's really the big question, but he is one of the few characters in the DC Universe that's basically immortal and would have lived through every time frame in its history. Additionally, Greg Weisman and team really tied that up into a very nice, concise, and short package. Something that wasn't overly complicated and explained the far-reaching corners of Earth-16. If James Gunn has done the same thing, and it does sound like he might have, well, this would be a huge reason not to pursue Young Justice, because the similarities would basically line up near perfectly. Now, I know many fans could find this disappointing, but honestly, it speaks to the quality of Young Justice. Now, I know many people don't favor the latter seasons, but honestly, the history part of Season 4 and its universe-building aspects, as well as the magic bus time travel aspects of that season, well, they clarified so much about the Earth-16 timeline, and like I said, tied it into a nice package. With Gunn looking to lots of other material, I could totally see why he used this in developing the DCU, and like I said, gives simple explanations on why all these different types of characters exist. Now, it does sound like they are going to release this mural sometime very soon. The movie actually gets released next week, and I do suspect that will drop after the movie is released and not before. When that does happen, we're going to dive into the mural and see if there are any more, well, and maybe finally get an answer to what the holdup on season 5 of Young Justice is, because many of us are, well, concerned at this point it's never going to happen. Now, obviously we're following Superman pretty closely, but its ties to Young Justice are very, very interesting. I really want to know what you guys think about this mural and the possibilities that James Gunn's DCU has a very similar or near identical timeline as Earth 16. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently, so you're really in the know.